I'm Jinx with Xbox Australia, and I'm at E3 with Lars Bakken, the lead designer on Halo 3 ODST for Bungie, and we're going to talk a little bit of Halo. So what makes Halo 3 ODST different from Halo 3?
Halo 3 ODST is an all-new campaign, and you're actually not playing as the Master Chief for the first time. You're playing as an ODST, an Orbital Drop Shock Trooper. What also makes Halo 3 ODST different is that we've included a new multiplayer, cooperative multiplayer mode called Firefight.
So just to get on that Orbital Drop Shock Trooper thing, why the decision to move away from Spartans?
We really wanted to tell a different kind of story, a more human story. And using human characters and ODSTs allowed us to do that. So we were able to tell from a different perspective. The game takes place between Halo 2 and Halo 3, and it's right after the Master Chief leaves the city of New Mombasa. So it allowed us to tell fans of the Halo universe what happened during that time.
Okay. And as I understand it, this story is set up a little bit different in that throughout the game you play as multiple characters. Is that right?
That's true. So when you originally start, you're the rookie. You blast into New Mombasa, you black out. When you wake up, you're by yourself, it's night. You want to figure out what's happened to your teammates. So you're looking for clues in New Mombasa. When you find a clue, you actually get transported and you play as that person to get the clue and piecing together the story of what happened over the course of the 6 hours when you were unconscious.
And so what is it they have that makes them different? What's going to change up the gameplay?
So they've got a couple of new weapons, and both are sound-suppressed weapons. So we've got the sound-suppressed SMG, which is a beast. It's got a scope on it for the first time, which allows for some long-range fighting, but it's really good up close. And then the Automag, which is a sound-suppressed pistol. And fans of Halo 1 are going to be really excited because it's basically the Halo 1 pistol making its return. It's awesome.
Yeah, I do know a couple of people that'll be very pleased to see the Halo pistol back. And in that gameplay, and especially the multiplayer, this Firefight mode. So what is the just very briefly, what's the basis of this Firefight mode? What is it? What makes it different?
So Firefight is a completely cooperative new gameplay experience. So it's you and up to 3 of your friends, split screen, System Link or Xbox Live, 4 players. They'll be playing together against oncoming waves of Covenant enemies. And the way we tweak up the difficulty is we turn on skulls as you're progressing through. So the farther you get in, the harder we make it by turning on Catch, for instance, which gives them unlimited grenades, and they throw grenades like crazy. And so it just becomes ridiculous.
Well, so it sounds a little bit like Horde from Gears of War 2. What sets it apart from that?
So there are a lot of subtle differences. First, obviously, is the Halo Sandbox. I mean, there are multiple different levels. For example, we're only showing 2, but theoretically you could be in a Warthog. You could be driving, another guy could be gunning on the back. You could be driving around a huge open environment with waves of Covenant coming in. We've got the full Halo Sandbox. We utilize everything. Every enemy AI comes at you. We've got vehicles and skulls, obviously, like I mentioned. But the other thing is it's not limited by anything. There's no time limit. So you can play as long as you can survive, essentially. We don't know how long people are going to be able to survive, but it should be pretty cool seeing those BNet stats once the game launches.
Well, what's the longest that you've ever survived? What's your record?
So we basically divvy the game up into waves, rounds, and sets. The set is kind of the whole. So there's 5 waves per round, and there's 3 rounds per set. We've gotten to set 5, I believe, at one point, and it probably took about 2 hours, but it was intense. And then you basically get to a point where you can't last any longer because we have every skull on, and the enemies are kicking the crap out of you.
So pretty solid. So the multiplayer sounds like it's going to be really good, and you can play everything from Halo 3 plus, well, some exclusives, right?
Yes. So there's 2 discs in Halo 3 ODST. The one is the ODST campaign and Firefight, like I just was talking about. The second disc is actually the entire Halo 3 multiplayer experience. So it's got 3 new maps, which are not available anywhere else, including a remake of Midship from Halo 2, which we're calling Heretic. On top of that, you've got the 21 released maps, so 24 total maps, Forge, save films, VNet integration, file sharing, everything on one disc. So it's a pretty awesome value.
So it's a pretty robust multiplayer experience, but what about the single player experience? Is it just an expansion? I mean, it's Halo 3 ODST,
Right.
so what can we expect from the single player?
Well, it's funny because I think when we started, we saw it as an expansion, and as the game progressed, it became more and more and more. And like the city of New Mombasa is ridiculously big. It's the biggest single BSB we've ever made in Halo history. It's enormous. The game just kept growing in scope. The story, the characters, the levels, everything kept getting better and better. And Firefight came in, and we were like, man, this is way more than an expansion. So it's still an expansion. It's a side story, but it's an expansion Bungie style.
Okay, well, here's my favorite question. What part of the game are you most proud of? Like what's your baby? What should we really look for and appreciate when we finally play it?
Firefight is my baby because that's personally what I worked on. But I think people are just going to be really excited about the story and New Mombasa. Walking around as the rookie at night in the city, there's a lot of things we haven't talked about yet that I think people are going to be really stoked.
Any Easter eggs, hidden treats, that kind of thing?
All over, but we're not going to talk about it.
All right, but we at least know to look for them.
Absolutely.
All right, that's Halo 3 ODST. Enjoy E3.